Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Lucia Craft. And today we come to the office of Scan Global Logistics in Shanghai. And firstly, I will introduce my guest. It's Rickard, the CEO Asia of Scan Global Logistics.
Hey Lou, thank you. Great to meet you again. We met in Beijing maybe half a year ago or a little bit longer. So warm welcome to Scan Global Logistics and the same to Paul.
And also Paul, the former chair of DCCC East.
Yep, I am Paul. I have been for some years here, working a long time for different Danish companies. And I am very pleased to join this meeting to talk about logistics and supply chains.
We know the Scan Global Logistics focus on supply chain. So Rickard, can I ask you to introduce the company for us, when the company came into the Chinese market, and what about the cooperation situation during this year's stay?
My pleasure. So Scan Global Logistics is originally a Danish company, but today we are a global company, which is also luckily from the name that we are a global company. But we were in Hong Kong and Shanghai already back in 2003. So it was one of the first offices that we opened up outside of Denmark and Scandinavia. But now it's also nice that we have offices around the entire globe. We have 15 offices in China alone.
Mm-hmm. So my question will give to Paul. What's your view about the role of a Danish Chamber of Commerce in supporting the Danish companies which are operating in China?
We are a platform, so everyone working at the boards are doing it because they love it, because they want to help it. And what we do is actually create a better environment for our members. Actually, right now we have different seminars and training programs. Mm-hmm. Our training programs go from HR, financial topics, new regulations about tax, new regulations about carbon, new regulations about everything. And we only exist if we have members. So, especially active members.
Ask about the supply chain situation, the development situation throughout the world, and also especially in face of the challenges of supply chain areas.
I mean, we all remember the challenges that happened during the pandemic, but that was a test on how vulnerable the supply chain can be. So of course we learned a lot from that. Right now there is an high demand on transportation. We together with our customers need to discuss, need to see prepare to ensure that their logistics is not stopped.
Are you satisfied with the responding of Scan Global Logistics when facing with the challenges?
Absolutely, I'm extremely proud. Our customer portfolio, as I mentioned earlier, have gone from being a Danish-Scandinavian one to really global, which has also opened up the eyes for us and also put us require us to take extra measures and to be even more professional in our doing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and Paul, in your view, the cooperation between the Danish companies with the Chinese-related companies?
China has been the supply chain of the world and is still and will remain being for many years. And you mentioned the EVs, you mentioned the solar panels. So any industrial solution has Chinese components. So today, Europe, because of the geopolitical situation and so on, is facing a challenge with the logistics. You need to be closer to the customers. BYD is building a factory in Hungary, and the reason is because not only to avoid tariffs, it's also to be closer to the market. And when they go there, they need companies like them and many others to help, because a logistic company from China cannot operate the same way in Europe. There are other rules, there are other traditions, there are other things where you need some people with the local experience to help you.
There are more and more Danish companies are planning to come into the Chinese market. And what's your view about the Chinese market?
Actually, all the big Chinese companies has been in China for many years now, and some of them even for 100 years. But China is developing a lot in many areas. In this case, Danish companies have a very strong footprint and a very strong know-how with green energy, with saving energy, with water treatment, with a lot of solutions, including medical solutions. So these companies are inspiration for a lot of smaller companies that either are suppliers or want to be part of what the others are doing and move to China, because the middle class in China keeps growing and everyone wants to have a share of that cake. So more and more companies are coming, and is linked to the support. We get more and more new members that are small and middle-sized companies doing services and doing new technologies.
China is by far the most important market that we have, and will remain so. We have been fortunate to be able to follow due to good service, and of course sustainability, and Danish have always been on the front run of it. But we also see that coming in more and more actively into the Chinese market. Being first with EV scooters, but now also on the car, dominating the market as such, are great examples of where Chinese technology and efforts are being done. But there are many more areas that I see, of course, that can be further enhanced in order to solve the bigger problem that we have on the planet with CO2 emissions growing and overheated planet. So many more steps, and if we can play a little role in it, we are very privileged and happy to do so.
Yeah, when we talk about the local policies, come into my mind the 24 measures, which was promote high-level opening up. And how have these measures improved the business environment for Danish companies operating in China?
So in general, it's a very positive measurement from the government, and we welcome it, and all our members are quite happy with that.
We have seen the steps of removing visa complexity for a number of European countries and many other countries as well. I think there's like 30 countries right now on the list where that can come to China without any bigger problems and stay here for 15 days without. But not only businessmen, I think also from a tourist perspective, there will be a lot more. And I've been fortunate not only to work and live here, but also before working and living, also to come to China to experience the great world and the Forbidden City and many other places, and that's something that I can really only sell and encourage people from overseas to experience once at least in their lifetime.
In which areas do you think China and Denmark can further strengthen cooperation?
The needs China have for carbon neutrality, for green energy, for reduction in the energy consumption for houses, so a lot of things. Denmark and the Nordic countries have a very long experience, and they can help China in all these areas, both from the big corporations, multinationals.
Okay, thank you, my guest. Thank you for your time. It's a really nice chat with you. So let's say bye-bye and hope to see you next time.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you, bye-bye.
Thanks.